Okay, hi and Assalamualaikum to Sahafizi. So the presentation assignment, we choose question 1. But before we start, let me introduce my group members. The first is Wan Arisha binti Muhammad Nazri. The second one is Siti Nur Humaira binti Zulkifli. The third one is Nur Batrisyia binti Nur Buhairi. And the last one, myself, Aisyah Turida Sofia binti Zulkifli. So next question. So before we dive in, so let me read the question first. So the question states that XYZ Senior Berhad, it's a private limited company in Malaysia, has called for extraordinary general meeting, which is EGM, to seek approval for a significant change in the company constitution. So the company is facing resistance from some shareholder during the EGM. Next. So, before we dive into this question requirement, let me explain about the legal framework. So, the first one is issue. This issue stated that can XYZ Sdn Bhd legally amend its constitution despite the opposition from some shareholders during the extraordinary general meeting? Next. So the law stated here is under section 36 subsection 1 of the Companies Act. A company has the authority to amend its constitution through the proper legal procedure. However, section 36 subsection 2 adds a little limitation, which is a company can apply such amendment retrospectively if they affect shareholder rights unless those shareholders agree to the change. And in addition, section 292 subsection 1 subsection A stated that a special resolution must be passed with at least 75% approval from members who are present and voting. So this is to ensure that major decision reflects strong majority support rather than just a simply majority. So the case that we found is next. So the case is Sharp v. Dawes, 1876. So this case involved a situation where a single person, which is Mr. Dawes, held a meeting claiming to act on behalf of several shareholders through process and pass a resolution. The issue was whether the so-called meeting was legally valid. So the court held that a meeting required at least 2 people to be present because the very definition of meeting involves a gathering or coming together of more than one person. So the other person said that a meeting means a coming together of more than one person. So the case established that you can hold a company meeting alone if you have process. There must be actual participant by more than one members. So this case helped to clarify what qualifies as a valid meeting under company law, which is essential when voting on matters like amendment the constitution. So the application, so in our scenario, XYZ Sdn Bhd wants to amend its constitution. So based on the law and case, the company must ensure that a valid meeting is held, meaning at least 2 members must be present. And that the 75% of those present and voting support the resolution. So if this achieved, then the amendment is legally valid, even if some shareholder object. So the minority dissent does not invalidate the amendment unless it was done in a bad habit or is oppressive or unfair to the minority shareholder. So this reflects as a principle of majority rules balanced with the minority protection. Next. So, in conclusion, so if the special resolution passes with 75% support and procedure are followed, so the amendment is legally valid despite the shareholder objection. So that's all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you so much, Aisyah Turida, for the information. So, wait, yeah. Okay, I'll be explaining about the legal requirements for convening an EGM or called as Extraordinary General Meeting under the Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia. Okay, so first thing first, is authority to call an EGM. An EGM can call by the board of directors at any time if they think it's necessary. However, shareholders can also request an EGM. Specifically, shareholders who hold at least 10% um, of the company's issued share capital, or a lower percentage if stated in the company's constitution, have the legal right to request for one. This statement is stated under section 311 subsection 1 of the Companies Act 2016. Secondly is notice of the period of EGM. The company must give a minimum at least 14 days notice before the EGM is held. This applies to private companies, and it's clearly mentioned under section 316 subsection 1. The notice must clearly state the time, date, and the venue of the meeting, as well as the purpose of agenda of the meeting. And then number 3 is the quorum requirement. Next. Okay, the quorum requirement. Before an EGM can proceed, there must be enough members to present. This is called the quorum. Usually the member is required is usually the number required is written in the company's constitution, but if it is not stated, the default rule under section 327 subsection 1 is that at least 2 members, either in a person or by a proxy, must be present to form a valid quorum. Okay, next, voting and passing minority protection. Okay, there are 2 types of resolutions. First is ordinary resolutions, and secondly is special resolution. So, an ordinary resolution needs more than 50% approval, and it's used for general matters. But for major decisions like changing the company's constitution, a special resolution is needed, which requires at least 75% of members' approval, as mentioned under section 36 subsection 1 of the Companies Act 2016. Okay, last but not least, the rights of shareholders, especially minority shareholders. Shareholders have the right to vote against any resolution if they disagree with. If the EGM was not called properly, affected members can apply for injunctive relief from the court. Also, under section 346, if minority shareholders feel they're being treated unfairly or their interests are being oppressed, they have the right to seek protection through the court. So, in conclusion, there are clear procedures that must be followed when convening an EGM. These legal requirements help to ensure that the meeting is fair, transparent, and also that all the shareholders' rights are protected, especially those of the minority. Okay, that's all from me. Next, I will toss the slide to the next presenter, which is Batrisyia.
Okay, so now I will be explaining about the role and purpose of members' resolution in a company. So let's start with types of resolution. So there are 2 main types. The first one is we have the ordinary resolution. So this is passed when more than 50% of members vote in favor, and it's usually used for normal decision like appointing or removing directors and approving dividend. And the second one is we have the special resolution. This one need more support, at least 75% of the members must be agree, and it used for big decision, for example changing the company constitution as stated in section 36, and changing the company's name or winding up the company. And also, before passing a special resolution, the company must give at least 21 days notice to the members. And now moving on to the purpose and role of resolution. So, the first one is resolution give the company legal authorization to do certain actions, but only after getting the approval of the shareholders. And the second one is special resolution. So, special resolution gives shareholders a say in major decision that could affect their right or interest, like change in share structure and governance rules. And the last one is resolution have a binding effect. This means once the resolution is approved, it's applied to all shareholders even if some of them disagree. So that's all from me, and now I will pass to the last presenter.
Okay, next, I will explain about the right of dissenting shareholder under the Companies Act 2016. So sometimes not all shareholders agree with the decision made during meetings. So those who disagree are called dissenting shareholders, and the law gives them several rights to protect their interests. So let me explain about the four main rights. The first one is right to vote against resolution. Shareholders have the right to vote against any resolution, whether it's ordinary or special. This can happen during the general meeting, including extraordinary general meeting (EGMs). So even if their vote doesn't change the final decision, this right gives them chance to express disagreement and have their opinion recorded officially. So next is right to appoint proxy. If a shareholder cannot attend a meeting, they can appoint someone else or call a proxy to attend and vote on their behalf. So this is helpful for shareholders who are busy overseas or unable to attend in person. So they can still take a part in the decision-making process. So number 3 is right to operation everybody, section 346. So if the company is acting in a way that is oppressive, unfair, or disagreed minority shareholders, they can bring the matters to the court. So under the section 346, a dissenting shareholder can go to court to protect their rights if they are being treated unfairly. So for example, if profits are not shared fairly or the directors make decision that only benefit themselves, shareholder can seek justice using this section. So number 4, lastly, is a right to initiate directive action, section 210. So if director commit misconduct and the company doesn't take any action, shareholder can ask the court for permission to file a lawsuit on behalf of their company. So it's useful when the director are not acting in the best interest of the company, and shareholder want to step in and do something about it. So this right important because they protect minority shareholder and make sure every shareholder has a voice, and even if they doesn't agree with the majority. So that's all from us, and thank you for your time.